You got me all right?
Yep.
Good.
Awesome, man.
Good.
How you been?
Making it. Can't complain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ready for springtime.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I showed up at my inspection this morning and it was 14 degrees.
I hope y'all were. I figured y'all were starting to get a little warmer, but is it coming?
Yeah. I mean, I think I want to say tomorrow it's going to be 47.
Oh yeah. That's
So,
that's nice. That's shorts weather.
yeah, that'll feel pretty good. Did you
I
have
was
any inspections
I was
today or?
complaining online this week, showing those cold roof photos, and this guy out of Montana was like, "No, man, we wear tank tops in that weather." I mean, it's all perspective. I
Yeah.
mean, I couldn't imagine the Rockies.
Yeah. Yeah. I told you like Tuesday I showed up at my inspection. It was -3, so that was not
Gosh,
fun.
that's your fingertips. So I can layer. I'll wear two pair of socks, and I'll wear a pair of thermals and a thick pair of pants, and then wear several layers on my torso. But your fingertips, man, I mean, there's just no warming those up. I have to go in, a lot of times about every 10 minutes, and try to get warmed up. That's the worst part.
Yeah, I got these thermal gloves, and then I just use like a stylus with a little rubber tip
I need
on
to
my
try
phone,
that.
and that seems to work the best because it still slows you down. You can't move as quick as like with your fingers and stuff on your reports, but
Yeah. Yep.
that's kind of what I'm stuck with doing during the winter time.
Let me cut off this dehumidifier. It just turned on behind me. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it's a little drone. Let me
All right.
shut it off. It's right behind me. Third button was the charm. All right. I saw a picture. Did you target shoot? Practice shooting last night?
Yeah, so I joined a league. It's a steel league, so you shoot steel target.
Yeah.
And then so that you have like a stop target, and then you got four other like regular targets, and you can basically shoot in any order, but that stop target has to be the last one you shoot.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been pretty fun. It's every Thursday night at a local range, and I've been having a blast with it.
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah, a pistol is a handgun.
yeah, yeah. So
20 yards. I saw you were at 20 yards. That's pretty good for a
yeah,
handgun.
and he ended up the final stage because there's three stages. He ended up moving it back like 3 more yards.
Uh-huh.
Uh, And I'm like, man, I started doing really bad because I only had my red dot. I have a red dot on my pistol,
Yep.
and I sighted it in at 15 yards at the range. So I was like, 23 yards. It's kind of not really hitting where I had originally had it sighted in,
Yeah, man.
and yeah, I was missing pretty bad. I didn't do too good on that stage, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. I have a Canic SFX Rival, which is like a fuller sized handgun. It's got like a mag well and everything. It's
And that's how you pronounce it? I've been mispronouncing it. Isn't it a Turkish gun?
yeah, yep,
Dude, they're awesome.
yeah. I
They're
was
awesome.
good. I was kind of looking at that Terran Tactical one, the TTI Combat. I don't know if you've ever seen that or if that ever
I
showed
haven't.
up on your radar, but it's pretty badass gun. But I ended up finding this one, and I saw that they have a lot more like accessories for it, like holsters, attachments, different stuff like that, versus the Combat. So I ended up going with that one, and yeah, it shoots. It's so smooth. It shoots
You,
so good.
you ever looked at a staccato?
Yeah, so there's a couple guys in the league that
Gosh,
yeah, there's some
they're
older guys
they're
around, but
awesome.
yeah,
Pricey. Pricey.
I don't have the money for those.
No, me either. Me either.
There's like 3,000 minimum for them things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you shooting? I know you have a Hellcat, right?
I do. That's what I carry. So I carry a Hellcat all the time, on a just inside the waistband holster. And then, so for inspections, I won't carry it in inspections because my tool belt. So I wear cargo pants, and I've got the Bodyguard 2.0. It's a little 380, but
Yeah.
dude, so I had the original one. The trigger pull was horrible. I mean, it's just like pull, 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 and then finally you'd go off, and the trigger pull is much better. But I keep those two pretty close, and then a Glock 19. It's a little too big to carry. That's my favorite to shoot. But it's just a
Yeah.
little too big to carry.
Do you have anything on them? Do you use red dots on?
Yeah, yeah, I've got one on my Hellcat.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
man.
I think we have the same Hellcat. I just have a different color, and because you got the Pro, right? Did
I
it come?
did. I did.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
so that's everyday carry as well.
Yeah,
So
man.
I just use the regular mag. I know it came with like an extended mag, but I don't carry with that you typically.
Yeah.
So
I do. I like the. It gives my pinky a little better resting place on the grip. You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely helps. It extends it down a little bit,
But
but
concealability, it'd be better to roll without it.
that's kind of why I left it out because I carry appendix, so like in my front,
I
and
cannot do it. I cannot get comfortable. Yep. Yep.
yeah, yeah, the extended mag pokes out a little bit too much when I carry front like that. So
So I saw you made a post yesterday, I guess, and Billy, you had Billy on, I guess, here a couple of days ago. Man, I was praying he saved it for Internachi, but I was like, show us a sample, or I was hoping he's going to pop up like some type of infographic, and I was hoping to see some tools and like report tools and what he's going to come out with. So I'll be anxious. I'm going to go to Internachi, so I'll be anxious to see what it looks like. Look first, then I'll hear about the tools as well.
yeah, I was hoping he would have something for us to pull up, but he just had like a screenshot of like the I guess the landing page for the like the back end part, and
Yeah.
I was like, I don't. Did you listen to the whole thing?
I did, and I listed. I kind of hit some highlights.
But he didn't. There was no calendar on the front page. I'm like, man, you gotta put a calendar on the front page. That's
Yeah,
like my like on Spectora. That's what I have like the big like how you can customize the widgets. My calendar is like full page.
yeah, man. There's people. I don't want software providers being afraid to imitate Spectora in some regards because there's only so many ways you can do things and no need in reinventing the wheel. So most of these are tools that we need, but a lot of software companies will be like, well, we want to do our own thing, with so many different aspects of software and totally understood. But then as well, when you've got the market leader at, 8 to 9,000, subscribers, it's all right as long as you're not, infringing patents or copyrights, which I don't know how any of that works in software, but heck, it worked once, it'll work again. And where's I don't want to sit here and bash on Spectora. I mean, they've had people say stuff for years, but there's a lot of grumbling, in the community, a little more than it used to be. Next gen focused and white screens to death and this and that. And now it's starting to, a few more people are saying things. So it's a good time for Billy to get started, and good time for Scriber, good time for a lot of companies who, stuff keeps popping up on the screen, for, companies that want to get involved. And if they can iron out the bugs that it seems, a lot of softwares have, they'll do well, man. Do well.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think it's a good time for companies like Billy's, and I haven't looked at the Home Inspector tool belt, but I hear that's like another good one.
Mm-hmm.
And the Scribeware is I think that is, you said you're going to that one, right?
I am. Yeah.
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 It's good for them to be coming out because now Spectora's kind of set the standard, and now these companies can use that and then build off of it and further improve.
Yeah.
I I don't know how you feel. I don't want to sit here and bash Spectora. Like I'm not bashing them. Like they've
Yeah.
been awesome for me. I've been using them for 7 years.
Me as well. Yeah, man.
But I feel like they've kind of stopped rolling out new stuff.
Innovating.
Yeah, it seems
Innovating.
like this whole beta thing has me frustrated because they've been in beta for like 3 years, and
Yeah.
I'm like, when is it gonna like
Roll this one out and start on another beta,
right?
to improve
Yeah,
again.
like
But
give us like I feel like beta is something you do for like a couple months and then you get you launch, and it's like this beta's been for quite some time, and I mean it's been working good for me. I haven't had really
me
any
as well. Me as well.
but yeah, that's just one of those things. And then another thing I was talking to Billy about is like the cost, and I don't do you use advanced?
I do not.
Okay.
Yep.
So I do, and then I pay for a number too for the automated texts so that it's a local area code.
Yeah, man.
And my monthly bill is like, anywhere from like 140 to 180.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, and that's kind of getting up there.
It is, and if they had, they've got great features. But if they would innovate, it reminds me of you and I when we first started in the industry. If we did all the same things we did in our first 6 months and never changed anything about our inspection processes or our report writing, detail thoroughness, anything, if we just stayed the same, your competitors are going to pass you by. You
Yep.
always have to be improving, trying new things, getting better. And I feel like, and you can't blame them. I compare it to being on autopilot. They knocked it out of the fence in 2017 and then did innovations on the office side, the back end office management. I mean, upselling and things like that. Those are important features. But the number one thing that any inspector, a technical inspector, maybe a little different from multi-inspector firms, the technical inspector needs is report tools. And they just did not innovate on the report writing side at all. Very little, if at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think they not, like you said, they knocked it out of the park, 7 or 8 years ago, whenever they came out, and kind of just nothing's really. They've added some features, but it's still like the same UI. It all looks the same still. Yeah. And the thing that interests me is like Inspector Toolbelt and Billy are incorporating AI.
Yes.
And that's going to be a big thing because,
absolutely,
especially when it comes to like writing comments. And I think there's some inspectors that are like, refusing to accept AI, I guess. And to me, it's just another tool.
Yeah.
And I think if there's something out there that can save me time on writing comments or writing my report, I'm going to use it.
Sure.
Because time's money. And, whether that's AI or if that's some other feature, it doesn't really matter to me. So I'm really interested to see how that gets incorporated.
I'll be interested to see as well. Yeah.
Hopefully Billy can get that launched, and lucky for you, you'll be able to check it out. I won't be going to Florida, but he'll be, I guess, debuting it down there. So
you'll have to come to the one in the fall, because I'm sure they'll have another one in the fall where this one was delayed from the last fall one, but have to try to come in the fall.
Yeah. I need to do something, set something up with the newborn. It's kind of
so I know you've been to, oh yes, little ones, all hands on deck, my friend.
Yeah.
Yes. But those conventions, it's more than anything, it's the camaraderie. It's just sitting with other inspectors and hearing their stories, hearing how their business is, how they're doing, things they're trying in their market that's worked and haven't worked. But it's those conversations that are worth the trip, more so than, I don't even know if I'll attend any classes. I'll probably just go to to chat with everybody, really.
Socialize.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's like we had some local meetings going on for a while. Like ASHI is big and they've got local meetings, but I don't really go to those. We had some InterNACHI ones because those were more guys that were local to me, and I kind of knew them better. And those are always fun because you get to talk about how guys are doing, where their inspections are coming from. Like what if they've added any new services or new tools, or if they're seeing anything new on these new construction builds and stuff like that. But I'm connected to a lot of local guys. I talk to different guys daily, which is good.
Sure.
I think because you kind of get a feel for stuff, and then we kind of refer things back and forth too.
Yeah, man.
If one of us is busy and we can't get one in, refer to the other one. But yeah, I think that's where a lot of my like motivation and stuff comes from, is talking to other guys. That's kind of why I wanted to start this podcast back up, because when I get done, I like kind of feel refreshed and I got a bunch of cool ideas, and I'm like,
Sure.
yeah,
Yes.
it's easy to get burnt out in this industry.
It is. We look at the same things over and over, and I try to. Yeah. So I've been fighting it a lot, and I think we might have even talked about it on the first podcast I did. And changing softwares has helped. Just it's like a new challenge, a fresh challenge, of you and using a different software. We looked at phone screen, for 3 hours straight and hunt and peck and what have you. So a new software is nice. But then just remembering how blessed we are. I mean, you can think back 7.5 years ago when you were starting out, and if you got a phone call a week, it was nice, but just trying to remember how we wanted this so bad. And then when you say the word burnout, it's almost like blasphemy, because it's like, do you know how many people would want the amount of work you get and what have you? And so I try to remember that, as well as pray for those people and try to help those newcomers. That's another thing. I'm sure you have people reach out to you. You have so many inspectors reach out, and want to know, the golden sauce or whatever, how to get the phone to ring and how to get it and going. It is such a different market than when I started 11 years ago. You started 8 ago, what have you. I could not imagine trying to start now. I mean, it'd just be a totally different game.
Yeah, no, I agree. And especially like right now, the market is terrible. And so I feel bad for these guys coming in.
Yes.
Start right now, because
Yes.
I had a guy, I get people reach out to me, probably not as many as you. I feel like you're like the home inspector guy. And so friendly and answering everybody's questions. But I get guys reach out to me locally. They're like, "Hey, I'm starting out. I wonder, like, have a few questions. What do you recommend, training wise, blah blah blah." And I'm like, I had a guy reach out, and I'm like, "Man, good luck, because this is not a good time to be. I hate to make you feel bad about your career choice here, but this is a rough time to be getting into the industry, because I know like veterans that are
struggling
right now. Yeah.
Yes. And you don't want to discourage a newcomer, but you definitely need to set that expectation. Be ready, and if you do have a job, see if you can drop down to part-time or whatever. I mean, don't just quit your job and, jump in both feet. And hopefully this spring, interest rates aren't going to drop by the spring, but, spring always brings a little rush. So those who have came in recently, if they can hold on to the spring, it'll get a little better. It'll get a little better. It won't be like old 2017, 18, 19 days, but it'll be better in the spring.
Yeah. Like I think 2020 and 2019, 2020, 2021 really messed with people, because the interest rates were so low that now people expect them to be that low, and I don't think it's ever gonna. It could happen again, but I don't think. I mean, I wouldn't get
two and 2.75. You got. I'm trying to think where we're at, but I mean, a lot of people have interest rates below 3, and they were 2.5, 2.75 forever. And I think we're hovering at 7. We keep dancing with 7, a little under, a little over. Dude, if you've seen what that does to a monthly payment, I mean, it's insane when you compare like a 3 to a 7.
Yeah. The amount of more house you can afford, and even like a different area, like a nicer area, if you wanted to, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, man.
I feel bad for people, for kids especially, trying to get their first house. It's rough right now.
Affordability, just not there like it was.
So I gotta ask you though, I want to go back to Scribeware. What made you decide to switch over to that?
So I said that I would never change from Spectora until somebody beat them, in my opinion, until somebody offered something that they didn't. And back office is important. I mean, Spectora, that's probably one of the biggest things I love about it, is it's on autopilot pretty much. I mean, somebody gets online. A lot of times somebody gets online and schedules. I don't do a thing. They pay, they sign, they add ancillary services. I don't look at it until I pull up the inspection on my phone the morning going there, I mean, so it's so simple. So I love, some of the back office features and what have you. But once again, as a solo technical guy like yourself, report writing is number one. And I feel I'm very efficient. You know your template well, and I can move through the app quickly and document things. But I kept having this thought in my mind of that, what I call IFTTT functionality, but if this, then that. So if you do this, then that happens. And I kept thinking in my mind, and I was like, wouldn't it be awesome if everything was just checklisted out? It's almost like the old carbon copy, the guys back in the 90s, man. I mean, it's, they would check good, fair, poor for the major components of the house, and then scribble a line or two, take Polaroids, and be gone, man. But the checkbox always intrigued me. We use checkboxes, somewhat now in Spectora for what home gauge used to call styles and materials, but for our items, for your cladding, what's present, vinyl siding, brick veneer, hardy, fiber cement, what have you. So what scribeware, the if this then that, so a checklist led report is how it works, and hopefully I can screen share and I'll show you just a little bit of it, and that alone pretty much made me jump. It and one other feature that I'll talk about, but let's go to plumbing. DWV material type. If I click on cast iron is here, it automatically goes to a limitation narrative that states, because I don't do sewer scoping. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I have a poo phobia. So I don't like, man, and guys are making a killing. And I was like, man, if I could touch poop, I'd probably be driving like a Mercedes G-Wagon to my inspections, dude, if I could touch poop. Click on DWV, and so a limitation will come up and say, this is an aged material. And see, I'm using deferred cost here, or aged item, with this limitation statement. And all this is available in Scribeware. But I click that pops up. And then a narrative that's going to kind of, just tell them about. So an informational, I'm jumping around too much. An informational narrative about DWV and its lifespan, 50 to 60 years. Limitation statement that it's old and you should have it scoped. And I don't do scope, contact a plumber. And then I put a link to the plumber. And then an associated defect narrative. So I have 3 narratives, and I'll show you forecast. And the defect narrative is just like, hey, this is going to come up for replacement sooner than later, yada, yada, yada. Just kind of making them aware of it. But that works for everything. Asbestos, just anything you click on. You don't use my template, but I've got sections dedicated to like water, moisture, condensation, and cracking. So when you say, you just use the checkbox and put crack foundation wall, and it's automatically going to pull in the associated narrative instead of having to go down through your narratives. And even though like it like the back of your hand, and picking the right one, and we'll do more justification by screen sharing here in a minute, but it's clicking checkboxes and it ties to narratives, so you don't have to search through the list of narratives.
I actually mentioned something like that, that would be cool to have, and I talked to Billy about that too, because there are situations that I would like to. If I'm we'll go to like siding. If I'm on siding and I click AMSV, and then it automatically does my disclaimer saying like this shit's never installed right.
Yeah.
And then it would be cool too if it just popped up like the common defects that.
And so you can have it picked, because AMSD, I mean, you never see proper clearance from flat work, never a weep screed at the base, never expansion joints, all this. So you could actually, when you clicked AMSV, you could do an informational narrative, you could do a limitation narrative, and you could have it with one click and then have it auto-populate 4 common defects that were always going to be there. And so imagine if one of them wasn't there, you would just simply delete that one. And so instead of 7 clicks inside of another software, you made 2 clicks. Picking ASV and then deleting the one defect that wasn't there. So it's really cool, man. Really cool. And observation, what they call Go ahead. Yes. Okay. It's crazy.
So I was thinking I just invented that all in my head.
So I did the same thing. I was talking, and I'll throw another little plug for another software for any guys getting started that want an affordable option that's clean and does well. Is Quick Inspect. I don't know if you've ever seen them. I hadn't heard of them until about a year ago, and I helped them with some ideas for a few months. It's Jeff Jones is based out of Austin, Texas, and then you've got his developer Hershamin, and it's a good software. It has some of this functionality, but it doesn't have the editability that is that a word? The ability to edit like Scribeware does. But no, I was explaining to them before I really looked into Scribeware. I was like, guys, the biggest bottleneck in any inspector's efficiency in the field is searching for narratives. Your common narratives, you're going to know right where they are, but it's that one that you're like, man, I've not seen that in a few weeks or in a month. And you're going down through that section, and you're like, where's, and yeah, you can use global search. Global search isn't always as foolproof as it sounds. So having these checklists, and that's what I was telling them, have everything checklisted out. You don't have to search anymore, and you're going to improve efficiency. I feel that's software's like the definition of software, and I don't know what the real definition is, but it should be simply to improve or increase efficiency. That's it.
Yeah.
It's a tool to increase efficiency.
Yep. Yeah, that's actually really cool. And now I'm kind of interested.
Oh, you're gonna die. You're gonna
die. A local guy I'm buddies with at Specs here. He went from oh shoot, what was that? What's a really crappy inspection software?
Oh, that sounds litigious. Less popular software. I'm scared to say names.
It was one of those really bad ones, and he switched over to Scribeware, and I started seeing Scribeware everywhere. And I told him, I was like, "Hey, it looks like Scribeware is kind of getting pretty popular. A lot of guys are switching." He's like, "Well, I'm gonna have to find something new now because I don't." He's like, "I don't want to be using the same stuff as everybody else."
Yeah, and that's been a draw to it, is and kind of been a deterrent to Spectora. Anybody that wants to kind of differentiate themselves, it's hard to do with Spectora if you're trying to do that on a report basis, because gosh, everybody uses it, which was good for them. That's why Kevin and Mike are, if they watch this, it's probably from their tiki hut on their own island in the Atlantic or something, dude. Those guys cleaned up.
Yeah, they jumped in at the right time, because before then there was not a good inspection software. It was all like 90s
MS DOS.
Yeah, it was
Windows 95. It was rough.
Yeah, it was junk.
Yes.
And but now I feel like everybody's making inspection software now. And
didn't Billy say? I thought I heard this in an interview, that he only had about $30,000 tied up into this.
Yeah, so the way he's paying his guy, or I guess part of the way he's paying them, is he's giving them stake in the company.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I haven't got to demo anything yet. He's supposed to let me know. I'm supposed to be, one of, I guess, the first people demoing it. And you can reach out to him too. I think he's looking for guys. Yeah. It looks good from what I can see. But I think his IT guys, or the guys, creating it, I think they saw how successful Spectora was, and then he I guess was like, yeah, I'm going to give you stake in this company. So that gives them more of a drive to make sure this stuff is good, buttoned up. And
it does work both ways, doesn't it? Gets it built cheaper, and then kind of ensures, how well it's built, because his payment on the back end is going to rely upon it.
Yeah.
So that's good. Smart.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure he'll, if it's good, if it's as good as it looks, and it works the way he's saying it's going to, I think he's going to take a pretty big share of the inspection software market.
Yeah. Well, that Scribeware, Dylan Chalk, don't you? Or know of him?
Who is it?
Dylan Chalk. I think he's out of the Seattle area. I know it's Washington. Dylan's been doing it for years, dude. He wrote a book. Him and Charles Buell are pretty good friends. I know you know Charles.
Yeah.
They're pretty good friends. And Charles, he is involved with Scribeware. I just don't know to what degree. But the actual developer, so it's Dylan's, I'm pretty sure is one of the top guys in it. But then the developer's name is Steve Lamb. He was the third software engineer or coder or developer or what have you for Microsoft Xbox.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and built Scribeware. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to share your screen, do you have the ability to?
Yeah, let's see what it does. I wonder if it'll share my... Oh, killer. No, it only wants to... Let's see... Entire screen. I'm trying to get it, like in Zoom, you can get it to just pick a program. So I'm gonna do entire screen. Let's make sure I don't have anything crazy up here. Yeah. To share your screen, allow screen recording for Chrome and system preferences. Then you'll need to restart Chrome. What? Hold on, there's got to be an easier way. No. Yeah, dude. When I go to share entire screen, to share your screen, allow screen recording for Chrome, you'll then need to restart Chrome. But see, I'm wanting to share. This is a standalone program. It's not cloud-based. So it's like an actual software that I use Mac, but you would download the software onto Mac or Windows and open it up that way. It's not like Spectora where it's
Okay.
web-based.
Gotcha.
So it don't give me. Man, I wanted to show it so bad, dude. Trying to see if there's anything I could do. Or do you have the ability to edit this video afterwards? Like stitch it? I can. Let's see what happens, because it says it's going to restart Chrome if I do this. Let's see what it does. Maybe it won't. We'll try it. If it hangs up on me, let's see what happens.
Cool.
Okay. See how it does now. Oh, that's trippy right there. That's crazy. Let's see. Let me see if I can fix this. All right. So I can no longer see you, but can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
All right, dude. So we'll keep this kind of quick, but let's go into this is my ground section, but here grading and lot drainage, and a lot of this I've learned. I've just been converting my template over the last month. But you come in here, click on overview, limitations. And so you could actually tie those two together. So you could actually click overview and it's automatically going to pull in your informational comment. And then I always use a limitation comment with grading saying, hey, I can't tell you if heavy rain's going to allow leaks below grade, only at the time of inspection, yada, yada, yada. Then down here, and so you can set, and dude, it's a process converting your template, but you can set this red means it's required in every report. So before publishing the report, it's going to make you answer these questions, and you have the ability to set which, kind of sections or what have you, you're going to make it ask you to do that. You go down here, and this is orange. That means recommended. And then black is inspector facing only. So whatever I check in these, the client doesn't see that. They can see orange and reds, like they would see vegetation info, but they wouldn't see something that said common defects in a checklist. So some of them you can set them to be inspector facing only or not. But then you'll come down here, grading drainage conditions. Click on improper grading, or you could do areas in need of attention. You've got some settled backfill. So whatever you click on, I'm trying to think one that's pretty cool, like decks. Hey, are any decks present? Yeah, they are. There's your informational comment. But I couldn't see underneath of it for whatever reasons. Let's say structural assembly for the deck was not visible, and this one's due to the ground. Here's something cool, man. Let's see if yes. So see how I've got that labeled overall deck gunny? So, with decks, I mean, gosh, you're the deck inspection king. You're like, you're going to wear a Nadra cape to the Nadra prom or something. You're good at decks. I'm cheesy, man. But anyway, for a deck, you can easily find, 8, 10, 12, 15 things, what have you. In Spectora, you've got 15 freaking defects, and they all say repairs are recommended to be performed by, qualified contractor, yada, 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 15 times. And it just gets so redundant. And I've not built this out. I've got it real basic. Multiple concerns are found to be present with the deck. But what you do is you click this section here. We got an improper ledger attachment. We got missing joist hangers, and we got some missing joist hanger fasteners, and it will, let me close it. There we go. But you can build those out, with as much detail as you want. So, that right there is just kind of basic.
That would simplify the report so much.
What's that?
X. I said that would simplify everything so much.
Yes, because I feel that buyers and realtors, you have the items, and even though I don't use the 3 circles at the top of the Spectora report, it's still listed over to the left. Dude, I even do it. I get done with an inspection and I'm like, man, I found 78 things on that one, and so buyers do too, and that overall number scares them. And not that I'm trying to, no, I don't want to scare people if they don't need to be. So I feel like that number is concentrated on too much, and this will take that overall number down.
Yeah, because I had decks where I actually made a comment that the deck is just overall is not good. It needs to be, torn down essentially, because
man, you
get to a point where you're kind of inspecting everything one thing at a time. And you're like, oh crap, I've got 10 comments just on the deck.
Yeah.
And so that really bloats the report. And then, you get that feedback of like, not that I'd care, but realtors are like, oh, it's a 70-page report.
Right.
So that there is awesome.
Yes. And then, let's jump here, man. I jumped over to exterior. And so walls and cladding. And what you're able to do as well is consolidate a lot of, what we'll call subsections in Spectora, but you're able to consolidate a lot of subsections into one section. And I've done that in some areas, but like walls and cladding, instead of, I'd have a fiber cement subsection, an ASB subsection, a vinyl siding. Here, I put it all in walls and cladding. So you can click wood framed, and it's going to talk about what you looked for with just the walls in general. Here's cladding, and you can see most of the stuff is done in like a checkbox style, but they also have a drop-down list. So you could go right here and pick the one. You could pick fiber cement. There's your fiber cement, informational narrative. And then you look right here, and here's fiber cement defects. And I don't have my default images pulled in yet, but you just go through here and click what you're seeing. And you could also, like I showed you a minute ago with that deck, since we see so many fiber cement defects, you could just create that one narrative and then have all those that I just selected available to select inside that one narrative. And so instead of 8 separate fiber cement defects, you have one that lists the 8 defects within it.
Yeah, that's
all.
Cool.
One more thing, and we'll jump off this, dude. But so I said there was 2 things. It's this checkbox style, reporting, which I love. So you're not searching for your narratives. You're simply, hey, here's what's wrong, click it and go. But it's the way to categorize defects. We're limited to minor, moderate, major inside of Spectora. Here, it's unlimited. So that, we were just talking about the overall number and how it scares people. I feel we do not add enough context to our findings. There's houses to be legitimately afraid of, or houses that are going to cost you a lot of money, when they have foundation cracking, water infiltration below grade. Both those are big open-ended fixes. When you get into older homes, rewiring, doing DWV and water distribution, water supply, those are big expenses. But then, there's so many narratives, so many defects, TPR valve discharge tube stuff, expansion tank stuff, couple inches shy on insulation, just all the mundane stuff that we find. It's our job to let them know of that. But I feel that it all bleeds together, and a lot of times they get overwhelmed and they can't discern. It's ultimately on them. They need to read the report and determine what's important to them. But I feel that it kind of bleeds together. And once again, they start looking at that overall number and trying to judge the quality of the house on that defect count, Where
Yeah.
here you can break it up and give some context to how you're calling things out. So you can see it there, but major concern, that's going to be those four, five that I mentioned right off the bat. Then you get your repair replace items, which I'd say 80% of what we find would fall in there. But then you get special categorization for further evaluation. Inquire with sellers, which I use all the time. I mean, even for ceiling stains, dry ceiling stains. I can't tell them if it's not raining. I can't tell them that that's not going to leak. They need to ask the sellers, and the sellers need to be honest and say. So I use Inquire with seller a lot. Upgrades, safety upgrades, and general upgrades. Something that wasn't required at the time of the home's construction. The garage to living space separation is the perfect example right there. I've had guys say, 1986 home, I'm not saying anything about garage to living space separation. Well, you should. That code was changed, created in '06 to, give the occupants at least 20 minutes of safety, 20 minutes to be able to get out of that house. So you don't want to call it a defect because it was 1986, but it is absolutely a recommended safety upgrade. Now, are you ever going to put a 1/2 inch drywall on your walls and ceiling and steel 1 3/8 inch door with an auto closure? Maybe not, but it is my job to tell you that you should do that, or at least that's the way I look at it. So, but then you got, recommended maintenance items, deferred cost, which is I call aged now in Subspectora.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I hate to interrupt you, but
Yes.
I like this because
Oh, it's
being
awesome.
limited to three things, three
Yes.
categories is like doesn't make sense because that deferred cost. So I list like if your furnace is like 25 years old, then that goes into my report as a defect in quotes. But really, it's just like hey, it's working. It's just old, so I would recommend budgeting for repairs or replacement.
Yeah.
I wish I could have a category for that on its own, so it's not listed as like being a defect necessarily.
Yeah, and so these you can create as many of these as you want to, and you can go inside of here and actually, do you want it to be in the summary or not? And do you even want it to be in the report? Which I don't know why you wouldn't do that, but it gives you a few options, as far as where you want to put it. So a lot of those I wouldn't put in the summary because it'd be on their responsibility to read the report, find those items, and do their due diligence. Man,
Yeah, I
that's
like.
it. Let me jump back over here to you.
Yeah,
All right.
the having safety upgrades categorized on its own too, away from the red item, because like right now the way I have Spectora set up is it's the red items are major concerns and safety concerns, and it's like not all. I shouldn't say not all safety concerns are major concerns, but
No,
like
but I get you. A trip hazard, a displacement in the driveway.
yeah, stuff like that isn't necessarily a red item. Like it's not like something and you get enough of those. GFCI on the isn't like a '90s house where it wasn't required on all countertops. I still recommend it on the countertop, but I don't. That's not necessarily a red item if it's
That's right.
further than 6 feet away from water.
Sure.
So stuff like that could just be like safety,
Yes, sir.
and then not have to like scare the buyer and be like, "Look at all these major concerns."
Yeah. And you're talking about red items. So I know you've heard this. You're probably gonna smile after I say it. You'll have realtors all the time be like, "Well, there's nothing red in there," because they want them to. Don't worry about the orange and the blue. They find that stuff all the time. There's nothing red in there, so they hinge upon it. So if you're building up that red section, they're like, you're freaking some realtors out.
Yeah, and man, I've had a realtor that just requests the red items get fixed, and it's like some of that stuff is like the homeowner could do it themselves. It's not necessarily, some of them things I would be more worried about the orange items that could turn into a red item versus just, and so like being restricted to those three, just having
Ugh,
three sex categories is
it's killed me for years.
well, and it's funny because it's like, why, why the restriction? What's the point of that? Why
I,
just,
Dude, I've talked to Kevin personally, and I'm like, please. Make it optional, because right now it is. If you go into template settings in Spectora, you can set it from 1, 2, or 3. Categorization levels. What's the difference with 5? You can use whatever you want. We're not saying you have to use 5. Just give the ones of us that want to the ability.
Exactly, yeah. And you would think with the amount of customization you can do with Spectora, that would be one of the items that you could. And it's like I quit using limitations really quick, like when I start, like probably within a year of using Spectora, because
Oh, I did too.
the limitations don't show up. You got to like click another button for them to show up. And so I just put everything into informational that I would have otherwise put in limitations.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of, man, it's making me want to kind of rethink. I'm gonna wait for Billy's.
Dude, I'll tell you, I'm gonna tell Dylan about this podcast. He does a Zoom with you, because he's the main man over there, or him and Steve. I don't know the hierarchy of Scribeware, but I know he does the Zooms with you. And so he's been on me for they've been out for I think 4 years. So for at least 2.5 years or so, he'd message me and he'd be like, "Let me show you Scribeware," and I was like, "Yeah, all right, well, one day, man, one day," And so I finally sat down with him, I think did Zoom with him in the beginning of December, and my mouth dropped. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't do this, a year ago." Let him take you for the little test drive, and you'll be like, "Oh my gosh!" And Billy's your buddy. You can still wait on Billy, but you've got to see it. He does a much better job demoing it than I do.
Well, and the thing, I've looked at it before because I remember when it kind of started gaining some traction, and I always look into the companies like that are starting to come up, and I didn't really care for the UI, but I don't know that I've looked at the finished. I think I've looked at the finished report before, and I guess it's just I like the structure of Spectora's.
Me too.
But the back end and everything of that would save me a lot of time and make me be able to customize the report a lot better. I like that you can have more than 3 sections of like 3 categories of defects.
Context, that context.
Box thing, is exactly what I have been wanting, because I just, like I said before, I thought I just invented all that.
Yeah.
And it exists. So,
do you know CSS?
Like the coding?
Yeah, I don't at all. I was like, yeah.
Yep.
You have that ability inside. So you're kind of talking about the layout and what have you. You can go through there and make it look like something totally different. It has CSS ability, which I wouldn't know what in the world to do. They have a guy that can do that for you. Yeah. To change the look of it.
Yeah. So I used to be a front-end web developer, so I wrote code in CSS.
All right. Uh-oh, now look at you like, man, I could do some stuff with that. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. So customize the look of it with code in there.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out then.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, maybe he'll let me do it for free for a little while, since he just got a bunch of free advertisement on the podcast.
He sure did. I've been singing the praises, and I've not even used it in an inspection yet. Yeah, man.
So I wanted to ask you too, because I know you had the thing with Spectora where you guys were kind of going to collab on some stuff and it didn't necessarily work out. Did you have anything else planned in the future, or any other kind of ventures you were looking at getting into or doing?
No.
Nothing you could talk about, or
no. Just helping, man. It's kind of crazy that it's not to say that I don't have goals, because that's ridiculous. Everybody has goals, but I don't have far-reaching goals. I like just going out and doing what I do every day and helping others and learning something new every day. And, if an opportunity presents itself, sure, I'd jump at it. I did want to team up with Spectora. It would have been cool, to both improve the software to whatever degree I could with just it wouldn't be any coding. It would just be ideas just like this, efficiency ideas and what have you. But it didn't work out. And so just any way that I can help, we might talk about this on the first one. I hate money. I really do. I need it to pay my bills, but it's not like I want to cash grab and accumulate it. It's just not a desire of mine. So anything I do is not profit minded. It's more of satisfaction minded or helping others or, yeah, man.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. Like I'm not I'm not money driven. I'm just like reduce my stress and be happy with what I'm doing driven.
Yes.
So it's like, I get to certain points where I'm like doing a bunch of inspections, and it's like I do things to kind of slow it down purposely. Like I'll raise my rates, or I'll stop doing certain areas. Like I quit servicing Illinois, so like this year I'm just doing Missouri.
Yeah.
Uh, Certain things like that, just because I don't know, I don't want to live to work. I want to wait. Or is that the right way to say it? You know what? I don't want
Yes,
to.
I know. I know exactly. You got to enjoy life, man. I mean, let's have the time to spend this little bit of money we're making. If you're working all the time, you ain't got a chance to enjoy life. Go out and make memories. I made a video yesterday talking about making memories, man. And when you're crushing it, like you said, you slowed yourself down. When you're thorough like we are, and there's a lot of inspectors across the country like us, but when you're thorough like us, it's mentally taxing, dude, to just grind on these inspections. They'll wear you out. So you kind of got to step back every once in a while and just get your bearings, your sanity, man, because it'll burn you out.
Yeah, I agree. And sometimes it's hard to do that. It's
It is because
like
the money, turning down that money.
well, and I noticed I wanted to talk to you about this too, because I wanted to talk to you about burnout. So I'm glad we kind of transitioned into that topic, because I noticed that your phone, you always have notifications silenced.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
is that for everybody? So, and do you return calls like once you're done with your inspection, or how's that work?
And so my voicemail, I don't know if you've ever got my voicemail, but it steers people to my website to schedule. And I very rarely talk to my client unless they attend the inspection or during. I always call a client after I see that they've opened the report. I'll call them an hour later. I'll let them read the report, and I call and ask if they have any questions. It's great for your reviews. It's great to do that for the hands-on attention instead of just dumping a report to them and never talk to them again. It's at least that one phone call, seeing if you can, and just offering your perspective of the place. But that's about the only interaction I have. If I was struggling for business, I'd probably answer every phone call, every text, but it can be a lot when you're a single operator like we are, and you're getting calls from realtors and clients, and just and then on top of all the spam calls we get these days,
Yeah,
and I was just like, I cannot have that multiple time a day disruption driving me crazy. Just gonna put everything on silent. And nothing's so important that it can't wait till I pick up my phone the next time to get back to you. Yeah, man.
yeah. I kind of feel the same way. And I set up my voicemail to say, hey, um, go to my website if you want to schedule or check pricing, because I'm very transparent on my website. I list out in detail everything that the inspection includes.
Yeah,
I basically tried to make my website a portal that has all the answers to all the questions that I get on phone calls, so that I could just send somebody there. They can answer all their own questions, check
yeah,
pricing, they could schedule, and then I used to on my other phone. This phone doesn't have that feature, but I used to send a text that, like if I missed their call, it would automatically text them. But now I gotta like manually copy and paste and text them. But basically, like, hey, sorry I missed your call. I'm either with the client, I'm on the road, or I'm in an attic or a roof or whatever. I can't talk. If you're looking for pricing, availability, check my website, or shoot me a text, because that's what I'd almost rather have. Almost want to get rid of the ability to call and just have texting.
yeah.
So many things can just be answered via text that don't require me holding a phone up to my ear and having to stop what I'm doing.
Sure.
Um, and a lot of people do that. A lot of people take advantage of that, and they'll text me. They'll be like, "Hey, I got a 1,700 square foot house. Here's the address. and then I'll just shoot them a text back real quick. All right, this will be this much money. I'm available this day at this time, and then we kind of get it handled that way. And then you get some people, that I'm sure that they just have to they have to talk on the phone
They
about it.
do.
And the other reason I don't really like the phone call thing is because on a text it's all saved. It's like, so I can go back and be like, what was that guy's last name?
Like
Like,
take notes. Yep.
or what was that address? And I can reference it. And also in the future, if I ever get a phone call back, I'm like, hey, blah blah blah. You said this and it's this or whatever. It'd be like, no, look, we texted about it here or whatever. So, um, yeah, I like that. I might have to do what you're doing there in terms of the notifications silenced or whatever, because
It's peace. It is peace. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely peace. And then I forget what I was going to say next, but it had to do with burnout. What are some of the things that you do once you start feeling that burnout? Do you take more time off, or what are some things that you implement to kind of keep
I
yourself
do.
from getting up or fix your burnout?
Well, this software has tremendously helped. Sometimes because I think most of our burnout comes from the reporting side, or the inspecting. So just changing focuses, maybe going to, and I don't do the marketing that I used to do or the website work that I used to do, but I used to work on the website or go over to marketing or social, marketing on social media. Changing softwares has helped, but just yeah, dude, slowing down, backing away a little bit, and how we kind of started this podcast here is just remembering, and that probably helps me more than any other single thing, is remembering how bad we wanted to be to where we are now, how blessed we are for having it. Because if we you worry about the burnout, but imagine if you only had 2 inspections a week, how bad that would suck and how stressed but you'd want burnout at that point. You'd be like, please, just let me be
Yeah,
burned out again. I'm stressed, man. I'm dying of stress. So that just talking to myself and being like, man, this is what you wanted, brother. You better get your big boy pants on and ride this burnout wave,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
dude.
I think good point is to kind of think back to before. Like for me, it'd be thinking back to the office job I had where I was sitting in a cubicle for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and had 7 days of vacation for an entire year. I could take off
Yeah.
if I'm feeling rough or stuff like. And it's like, man, I've got it pretty well made right now. If I think about it that way, I'm not stuck inside. I'm not staring at a computer screen all day. I'm staring at a phone all day, basically. But
Yeah,
uh,
man.
yeah, it's definitely good to look back, I think, and see where you were even before becoming an inspector, but like when you were slow too, because
Yeah.
yeah, it's you take it for granted when you get real busy.
You
So
do. You do.
the thing I worry about too the most is like when I start getting burnt out, my attitude changes, and I feel like I'm not as good for the client, like as good as I'm not putting on as well of a presentation for the client as I should be.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Putting that extra mile,
But you want
like
to know something? I don't mean to cut you off, but I think you are the only one who thinks that way. I guarantee you, your client is sitting there thinking, this dude, gosh, what he did for us, and he's so friendly, and man, he was so thorough. But you know that you're burned out, so you're like, and your heart's just not 100% in it. Even with your heart at 90, 95, dude, the way you do inspections, I mean, that's really laying on the gas. So I don't think anybody realizes it other than yourself.
hopefully not. But I try to. I feel like once that starts happening, I try to look up elsewhere for just getting my mind off inspections completely, or trying to reset, maybe taking an extra day off or 2 days off, and sometimes that doesn't even help. But I'm just searching for ways to reset to get that fire back, and to because I don't want my presentation, like my my face customer facing self to start slipping to where I'm like, the people are like, well, what's this guy all pissed off about? You know what I mean? Like,
No, man. It's in your head. I know, dude, because I do it. And I think the same thing, but I also know it's in my head. I'm smiling and I'm like, damn it. Damn it. Again. No. But, yeah.
you know what's been driving me nuts lately? I've been hitting all these houses with cellulose insulation, and
Yeah?
I would rather do crawl spaces than pop open a hatch with cellulose insulation raining down on me.
Oh,
You cannot get that stuff off.
it gets right back here and it drives me crazy.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm like, if I start popping it a little bit and I see a little bit of it, I'm like, oh no.
It's bad in the
There
summer when
was a
you're sweaty.
log. I
When you're
wish it was.
sweaty? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's the worst too. But gosh, and it gets on your light, like it covers your light up. You gotta blow your flash, like it gets in everything. Your phone,
Dusty.
take your phone case off and like wash your phone off.
Yes.
Yeah, that's been driving me nuts lately. But
Yeah, man.
last thing I wanted to talk to you. Well, I got two more things I wanted to talk
Yeah.
to you about. So, have you made the switch to HIC Micro yet? Thermal camera.
No, and I want to. I want to. Are you using the B20 or M30 or
The
whatever one?
M20W. And so, dude, so my biggest like time suck when I got home from an inspection was having to plug in my FLIR camera to my computer, transfer those images over to the computer, pull up Spectora, transfer them to my comments in Spectora.
Yeah.
Dude, the MW20 puts off its own Wi-Fi signal. Your phone connects to it. You have what's called live view. So as you're moving the camera, you're
Wow.
watching it on your phone, and there's no lag at all. So it's
Wow.
I forget how many hertz it is, but it's set up to where like you move it real quick, your phone the picture on your phone moves real quick. You
Yep.
take pictures from your phone instead of like the camera. So you hit the button on your phone and it takes the picture, and
Yeah.
then you save it to your phone, and then you can just pull it into your report. And you can do that with video too. So the biggest I came from an E4 hacked to an E8, so I didn't have video or anything like that.
Yeah.
And M20W has a video and mic, so you can do videos and talk while you're doing the video. Um,
How would you compare the quality between like resolution? Well, I've seen, and that's right, dude. We've not talked about this. You have caught the unicorn a couple times now as far as the concaved IG units, man, and it's awesome.
yeah, and they've all been on new construction. I had one that was not on new construction, but yeah, I did. I had a house in December that two of the windows were like that. And what was cool is I took a picture. I don't know if you saw it, but I took like an actual digital photo. If you got up to the side underneath it, you could see the concave. And then
Wow.
I ended up running into them again, and they said that when it got real cold, it frosted in the middle. So
Yeah,
the
man.
window just had a frost circle in the middle. So yeah, and then I had another house. I think last winter it was the bathroom, and there were two windows like right at the corner, and both of them had it. So I got a picture of like both of them. But
Gosh, it's awesome, dude. It's like the that ain't a good analogy. I was gonna say the gold pot at the end of the rainbow. That's like my dream, dude. I'm like, I want to catch concave glass. It's just something cool about it, man. There's something cool about it. And you've done it now two or three different times. I've seen you post in the IR group, and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
lucky
I
duck.
I bet Bill is using some of my photos in his
Yeah,
class. I remember when I took his class, he had two of my thermal images in there, and because he gives credit to whoever has them,
yeah.
and he had them in there, and I was like, hey, like while we were doing the class, I was like, Bill, I took those photos.
Where's my royalty check at,
Covered
Fabian?
hell.
Did you hear me?
What's
Where's
that?
Where's my royalty check at, Fabian? Gotta get on him, man.
Yeah. But he was at the ASHI Inspector World or whatever in St. Louis um, in the fall, and that's where I saw that HIC Micro. He demoed it for me because I just assumed it was like a FLIR, it's just a different brand, and like you can't really beat a FLIR. And
Yeah.
it for me and showed me the phone connection and everything else, and that's what sold me on it. So
Resolution. So I had an E4 hacked to an E8. What, and not resolution difference, because that lots of stuff is just numbers. But can you tell a pretty dramatic difference between that camera, like clarity wise, like image wise, and the Hick Micro?
yeah, the Hicks definitely got better resolution for sure.
Yeah, man.
Like uh, as far as the thermal goes,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I like the I don't know the zoom of it. I don't know how to say it. The picture of it.
Field of
It
view, FOV.
field of view. That's yeah
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I like thick field of view. And I think the one step up from mine. I don't know if it's the 30 or what it is, but I think it's got an even larger field of view if I'm not mistaken. And one of them's got zoom, but
Yeah.
um,
The one I have, the camera I use now, has a 24-degree field of view. So, dude, I mean, like an electrical panel, I literally have to stand back 12 feet
oh wow.
to do. It's crazy. And so they make a 42-degree lens, which is kind of, I think, what was on the E4, E8 line. But the lens alone, so to swap it out, $1,600 just to get that different field of view. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm going to go Hick Micro after this one dies or whatever. So I'm not going to spend that money. So for now, I'm just standing way back and scanning everything. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. You'll probably go for the higher up, but the M20W, I paid $1,500 for it, and yeah, it blows all the E's, like even the E8 Pro or whatever they got it now. I think it blows all of them out of the water. Now, once you start getting up to like the higher up E's, it's it probably levels off a little bit, but
That's,
definitely all those base series like E4, E5, those models are E. I don't E6. I don't know what all they have,
you're
but
right. You're right. Yeah.
it's definitely better than those for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Um, cool. Well, it's good talking to you.
Yes.
I'm
Yes, it
glad we could
was.
do this again. I think it's been like almost exactly 2 years since the first one.
Time flies, dude. It flies. Yes, it was a pleasure, brother. And get ready. I'm gonna message Dylan, so he's gonna be blowing you up. He's gonna be like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna get Zach," and tell Billy not to worry. You're dating right now. Don't tell your wife that you're dating softwares. Yeah, man. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I'll have to check it out. Do you have the Forerunner still?
Yes.
How's that running?
Good. I think I hit 107,000 yesterday.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
Need to do like a walk around video of that if you don't
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, man. I love it. I love it. What are you using?
Right now, so I just got a truck in August. I went back to the F-150. So I had a 2011 and
Yep.
I liked it. And
Yep.
I had a couple different vehicles and then I ended up going back. I got a 2013 and this one's got the EcoBoost.
Yep.
But I put the decked drawer system in it.
I did see something. That's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah,
My buddy
it's
Jake's got it. The Edenfield. It's killer.
yeah, I like it. It's nice. It takes up all that space I would have been putting all my stuff in the cab. It like I'm able to fill those drawers up with all that stuff. So
Yeah, dude. Yeah. You put your poop camera in there?
my what?
Your poop camera, is it good in
Oh
the door?
yeah, not it doesn't fit in the drawers, but I put it in
Yeah.
the back bed. I actually ended up selling it, all my sewer equipment. So
Oh,
uh,
okay.
I decided to get out of it. I think that was part of the reason I was getting burnt out. I was adding so much more extra time to the inspection, and
There's not much that'll burn you out than touching poop every day, man. That'll get you.
dude, I sold my camera and it looked brand new because of
Yeah.
how meticulously I cleaned that thing. Come, I'd have like a tub of towel in one hand, disinfectant wipe in the other, and I'd be like cleaning it as I'm pulling it. But
Mhm.
I added 17 grand last year to yours.
The money's nice, but
Yeah, yeah. But I'm looking into doing other stuff this year, so we'll see.
sir. Oh, you got the deck thing going. Let's talk about that on the third podcast.
Are you there? I think I lost you.
Yeah. Did I lose you? You there? Just trying to reconnect.
Oh, there you
Are
go.
we back?
Yep.
I got a message that said trying to reconnect. I was about to say we didn't talk. You're going to be rich. We didn't talk about your debt company, but that's going to have to be for the third podcast.
Right. Yeah. We can dive into that another time, but hopefully
Yes.
that's taking off. Not many people are looking at getting decks right now, but I think once spring hits, it'll start moving along a little bit.
Marketing, marketing, marketing. You're a master of it, dude. You'll have it going for no time.
Hopefully. Yep.
Yes.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. It's good talking to you.
You as well, man. Enjoy your weekend, Zach.
All right. You
All
too.
right.
See
See
ya.
you, bud.